2. Match number 2. Ron Bohnert against Chris Miller. Chris choosing to start on the left-hand lane.
Chris bowls out at Coleraine Bowl, one of the Ruggieri places.
Boy, he lets it rip.
Wow. Holy cow, that was strong.
He lets it rip.
And we know Ron Bohnert can let it rip. This guy is just on fire in Cincinnati for the past at least 2 years.
I'd say probably more like 4 or 5, Jennifer, but you're right, the last 2 years he's really come of age, but he's had the talent and the scores for many, many years. As we will see his bio shortly, it is just jam-packed with award scores. ABC again, American Bowling Congress. The people that keep the game straight for you and me.
And of course, that's the men's version. Then we have the Greater Cincinnati Women's Bowling Association for the women.
That's right. Those people keep you straight.
You bet. And that's a difficult task.
So I've heard. Left-hand lane, Ron Bohnert absolutely crushing the pocket as usual.
David, you know, we hear so much about resin balls, resin balls, resin balls. Very seldom does Ron use a resin ball. We're going to look at a urethane ball right here. There
it's coming at you. Urethane ball spinning, twirling, and then turning over at the end. 1-2 pocket filled up. We are out of here. That's the ball, right-hand lane. And he answers with a jumper.
This guy is sending pins everywhere, David. Unbelievable.
Okay, he'll move back over to the left-hand lane and see if he can do it one time.
Let's check out what he's done. 696 here at Suburban Bowl to qualify, averaging 202. And of course, by looking at the way that ball hit the pins, he definitely has a 300 game. Piece of cake.
Going just a little high, leaving the 4-pin on the left-hand lane again. Again, the better bowlers will figure this out quickly and make the adjustments. Take a look at it here on 4-pin. This is how it's left. Head pin goes back, 2-pin goes to the edge, takes out the 7, but leaves the 4.
Using the same ball for the cross alley spare.
Well, and I believe that's a wise choice, Jennifer. The feel of the ball is very, very comfortable. A week ago on national television on the other network for the pros, Norm Duke actually had the first 6, amazed me, and changed the grip of his ball and allowed Walter Ray to throw the last 6 to go around him and win by a pin.
Holy cow.
Norm Duke, we've known Norm for a lot of years through bowling in the Super Classic before he turned professional. And he's just one heck of a bowler. And
so is he. Ron Bohnert, 27 300 games and 18 800 series.
Age 30, averaging 230. Qualifying score here, 714.
David, with a spare here, we're going to have an exactly even match. Ron is, of course, a 4-stepper, and he gets a very low track on his ball, which means he has a lot of forward roll going for him. Ron taking a lot of extra time getting some air on his hand to dry it out. Eyes really intense. Ooh.
I'm not so sure a bowler like Ron Bohnert should take the extra time. His game is geared around a certain tempo. That tempo happens to be quick.
However, if your hand feels real sweaty, that's probably more important to get that dry.
Probably so, but leaving the 1, 3, and the 7, the object here to throw the head pin, center your screen, over into the 7 for the spare. Let's see if you can do it.
Excellent. Perfect shot. That's why Ron Bohnert averages 230 right there. Key shots.
Not only can he strike, he can make those difficult spares too. He leaves it, but my Pappy always said, never leave something you can't make. Head pin into the 7. That's about as perfect as you can possibly be.
Chris Miller is just ripping that ball for all it's worth, but that time the head pin
going in front of
on
the 5.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with the rotation that Chris Miller gets on the bowling ball. Married to Jenny. He has 3 kids, Cindy, Michael, and Beth. Sounds like a good crew to me. Ages 11, 9, and 6.
Good.
And married to Jennifer.
He's got his hands full, I guarantee you.
Lives
11,
in
9, and 6. He's got his hand full. 2 pins the difference. This match, again, there's 2 pins is nothing. That's 1 bad shot, 1 bad count, nothing to these players. But again, see how high he holds the ball. Now, he will do that to get extra speed on the ball to get it down the lane. And probably in many cases, as hard as he hits the ball, Jennifer, he needs that speed to get it down the lane. But I'm not so sure if he wouldn't lower that ball position a little bit, take a little. Is that a 5-star? A Dick Weber 5-star?
What it appears to be.
Haven't seen one of those in 20 years. And he makes his spares with it. Little smile there. Eee.
David, that must be his cross alley ball for when he's going over into the 10-pin area.
Well,
because he's throwing a blue resin hammer for his strike shot.
And here's Ron again. What is it with this? This is the new Ron Bohnert. I'm not used to this methodical positioning of the feet and the hands, and I'm just not used to this.
No, this is pretty much out of character for what we've seen before.
We've alluded to the proprietor here, and he has been running a establishment out here for several years. Nice looking establishment. Again, here, let's watch the footwork here. Changes a little bit, very deliberate.
Looks like he's counting boards, David.
Stands there. He's increased his time on the approach, Jennifer, I'm sure by a full 3 or 4 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but for him, that's a lot. There's Lee Dan. There's our proprietor.
The people that bowl in the leagues here at Suburban Bowl love this guy. I mean, he's so friendly, and he just makes you feel really warm.
Lee, down this way. Look. Oh, no, over here. Over here. To your left.
What a great guy. And he runs a tight ship out here.
Absolutely. Again, Ron Bohnert, a little extra time. I don't understand it.
David, we're definitely going to have to ask him about this.
Jennifer, after this match, win or lose, I want you to talk to Ron about this, because it's so obvious to us. There's got to be a reason for it.
We'll be interested to hear that response.
There you look at the Miller BPA scoreboard. 2 pins, absolutely nothing. But again, with a tentative Ron Bohnert, I would call it.
I would too.
Tentative Ron Bohnert, not the freewheeling guy we're used to seeing.
And of course, the latter part of the game is coming up, and that's where we're going to see something happen.
Well, we're going to see something happen right here. We're just going to get that pin out of the channel. That's right. Throw that fish out.
See ya.
Yeah, that was, as you know, as one of the ABC rules specifies, that if there's dead wood, and that's any pin laying in the channel, should another pin come in contact with it or the ball, it is dead along with the wood. So back-to-back shots where the 5-pin or the head pin rolls in front of the 5, Jennifer.
Yeah, there must be something to that. I think if he would just take his speed down a little bit.
Okay, keep your eyes on the head pin. Center your screen, folks. Watch it go to the left-hand side of your screen, right here. Go to the left, come off the wall, whirly bird, and then roll right in front of the 5. Couldn't have missed it by a ½ an inch.
Seems to me, David, he has to get the arc of the ball rolling a little sooner to get that good angle going into the pocket. But he's sparing along. I mean, that's the key. Because unlike Ron Bohnert, he's not striking right now.
Sparing along, singing a song. And 1 pin apart. Yeah, see, left-hand lane. Can he do it? That looks like a better shot. Well, the mixer, but again, a little bit too much speed. Jen, I think you've pointed out we might want to interview both these players later. So why did you throw so hard, and why did you go so slow?
Let's find out what's going on here. Chris lives out in the White Oak area. That's a nice part of town. Bowls once a week and then every other week. Of course, as we said, he has a 300 game.
Coming out, oh, and he misses the 4-pin going across, hits that crown of oil.
Holy cow. You don't do that against Ron Bohnert. What a gorgeous car. It's a Chrysler Cirrus. And Jeff Weiler, the sales manager out there at the Jeff Weiler Eastgate Auto Mall, Steve Haynes, brought it out for us this morning. And as many of you know, a 300 game, and that baby could be theirs.
Well, I got news for you. That baby's going to be mine next year anyway. I love that automobile. Had a chance to rent one when I was out of town not too long ago, and it is just a beautiful car to drive. Handles so well, and with a couple of toys added in there, you've got one gorgeous automobile.
And of course, if you would like a good deal on your automobile, go check out Jeff Weiler. You can get any variety out there at the Eastgate Auto Mall.
Yeah, that's true. Ron Bohnert, the tentative Ron Bohnert, right-hand lane going into the pocket.
Whoops.
Leaving.
Looking down at his feet.
Yeah, leaving the 7-9, which is the right-hander's 8-10, which is typically a deflection shot. Again, Jennifer will have to talk to Ron after the match. Again, win or lose, he's going to be distraught. This is not the kind of game he's used to throwing. He still is 3 pins behind at this particular point. But again, nothing to him. But this isn't the Ron Bohnert I'm used to seeing.
That is, however.
Even he gives himself a round of applause.
He's proud of that shot. Chris Miller now, he's going to need to get with it here in the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame, because Ron throws balls like this.
Is he on track? Does he think so? Yes, he liked that
I
one a lot
found
more.
it.
Thank you. Right-hand lane.
Oh, that looks
there.
good,
Yep.
David. Oh, maximum penalty for figuring out the lane's 10-pin.
What you gonna do? Yeah, coming out here to Suburban Lanes, you passed by Jeff Weiler, Jeff Weiler, Jeff Weiler, Jeff Weiler.
He's great.
I mean, he occupies the east side of town, but he sells all throughout. I live in Western Hills, as do you, and again, we bought our Altima from him last year, and I'm sure that one of those Cyrus is going to be mine, or Cirrus, I'm sorry. Cyrus, Cirrus, whatever. I'm going to own one. I love that automobile.
Gorgeous. Really is a streamlined car. Aerodynamic.
That's right. 3 pins still the deficit. 9th frame, our position. Left-hand lane. What are we going to see? A light mixer.
Unbelievable. We have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly this game.
Oh, wait. Boy, oh boy, you're brutal, Jennifer. I'll tell you what. This must be the ugly shot you're referring to, or ugly pin action. Head pin center of your screen, goes to the left-hand wall, comes off. Whirlybirds typically takes out that 4-pin. Not today. And he didn't learn from the last time when he went cross lane.
Boy, and that can be so frustrating.
In the 9th frame with a Bohnert with a strike working in the 8th. Not a good thing to do. Look, even Ron can't believe it. Shaking his head. Typically, a competitor will not give you this kind of an opening. And not in typical Bohnert fashion, putting him away, as we have seen so many times in the past.
And of course, the king, David, is Nick Vogelsang.
Nick Vogelsang is the king is correct. And if Ron Bohnert would happen to win this match, we'll show you some statistics that will knock your eyes out if you combine the 300s and 800s between these two gentlemen.
Thought he was going to miss that there, David. He's in pretty good shape. 150 in the 8th with a spare up. He's going at a 190 pace.
+9 at this point, Jennifer, but he controls his own fate. That's the big thing. And on the lane that he appeared to be more comfortable.
Chris Miller not looking on.
doesn't want to watch. Doesn't want to watch what he perceives will be the case. But again, I'm just not used to this with Ron Bohnert. Stone 8.
It is not over. Do not go away.
Crucial situation. He makes the best shot of the match. Let's take a look at it here. The best shot, low, just absolutely to get the perfect leverage on it, and the pins don't do their job. Does he want it? He wanted it. Did he get it? No. What do you have to do to knock him down sometime? And 3 to 4 years ago, Jennifer, I think you'd agree, we saw a third, if not a quarter of the amount of solid 8s and 9s that we're seeing now with these highly powerful balls that have been developed by the different companies. They just drive right through the pins. There's no deflection at all anymore.
No. Ron Bohnert cannot close out Chris Miller.
No.
Chris is going to need a double to win. He has his opening. He has his chance.
Needs a double and an 8 count to win. And we saw this situation before on King of Bowling. And this is where the cream rises to the top. Can he throw a double? Well, it answers that one. Goes to the well a little too deep. Pulls it through the head pin, leaving the 3, the 9, and the 6.
And you can bet he's very disappointed. But boy, I am impressed with his rotation. Chris Miller can really throw some serious strikes.
All he needs to do, really, Jennifer, is to make the next jump in his game, is to learn a little speed control. Possibly, if raising the ball is what he's grown up with, if he could change that just a little bit, I think he could develop more area on the lanes if he were to throw the ball a little softer with that same basic rotation. Good shot, but again, it goes wide.
Yeah, we just needed a little less speed to get that ball rolling.
Well, we are going to have the matchup of the century. Our winner of match number 2, Ron Bohnert, is going against the King of Kings, Nick Vogelsang. And wait till you see the stats on these guys, folks. Don't go away, because we're not. We'll see in just a few minutes.